Hi, this is Ruth from the Happiness Project, and this is probably going to be an atypical post because usually I'm talking about something that becomes like a spiel that I do over and over again with people that I think would be useful for people to hear online. But this one's different. Uh, it's about it's about what makes us happy. It's about friendships, about relationships. I spent the last few days on vacation, as it were. Had someone visiting me in town, and she just left, and it really got me reflecting on how powerful and how important it is for us to have great relationships in our life. And I think of that because I'm kind of a nerdy geek brain. I think of that Harvard study about relationships being a predictor of happiness. But just right now, I'm there's just so much gratitude and love for the people that I've connected, for seeing how much love there is around me, the great relationships, how they've connected. It's just so much. I'm kind of overwhelmed at the moment. And when I think about how relationships relate to happiness and relate to mental health, it's not, in my opinion, it's not I need to go and find the right person or the right people. Um, there's a piece of that, but there's so much more that has to do with your mindset, that has to do with, just off the top of my head, your ability to forgive, your ability not to take things personally, your ability to meet the person where they're at and not demand they be something different, the ability to notice what they're capable of and accept those gifts without demanding more. A lot of this has to do with how you're able to be in relationships. And I've learned stuff over the years, but the last year has been incredible for my growth and for, um, seeing how these things play out and seeing how people can come together. Yeah, I had to be around the right people, and that was part of it. But I never could have connected and had the love and had those strong connections and just had the fulfillment if I were taking things personally. Because in each of the relationships I'm thinking of, there have been hiccups. There have been things, there have been moments where, I felt reactive to something because some of my old stuff. That's very, very human. So, I don't know anyone that's going to get away from that, get away from having some stuff that will be triggered. But do you react and automatically think it's the other person's fault, or do you dive in and check in and see, like, are you able to, I guess, look into that and figure out what you need emotionally, what you need in the relationship, and then let the other stuff go. And honestly, a lot of this comes down to perspective and love, but a lot of it also comes down to forgiveness. Now we're back to any number of spiritual traditions that say forgiveness is the key to happiness. Forgiveness, just so you know, has nothing to do with the other person. It has to do with where your heart is in relationship. And if my heart is hurt and holding a grudge, but I say I forgive someone so we can reconcile and they can live in the house with me, even though they treat me horribly, that's not. I don't know what that is, but it's not forgiveness. That's, burying my head in the sand. That's allowing someone to mistreat me. I don't know what that's called. But the forgiveness where I realize, that I take something personally, or that this is where someone's at and who they are, and here's how much they can offer. And based on that, I can love and accept those gifts without putting on additional expectations. And then I can enjoy the beautiful things they have to offer me and not be hurt by the things they can't offer me. That's the kind of thing that's real forgiveness. Because when I'm forgiving someone, it's really forgiving my expectations, and sometimes someone can't be everything to you or what you had hoped. But if you can let go of that, you find that they have something beautiful to offer. And if not, maybe that's not someone having your life. So that's a whole nother discussion. And I don't know if this is all like out there and if this is making sense to people, but thinking about just loving people where they're at and accepting gifts, and letting that be how you flow in relationships. Then when you find the right relationships, there's so much out there for us. So I'm just feeling so incredibly grateful this week, and I hope this conversation gives people kind of a little bit of a different perspective on what it is to be in a relationship, to love, to forgive, because ultimately our happiness has everything to do with relationship. I work individually. I don't like to work with couples, and I work with people individually because I think we have to do the work internally. But we do the work internally so we can see relationships in a good perspective and so we can love properly. That's really what the work is about, is accepting love and giving love, um, letting go of expectations, which is another way of describing forgiveness. So when we're able to do that, when we deal with our own stuff, which gets in the way, our own stuff is like a wall that gets in the way. It blocks us from love. And that's fear, that's judgments, that's all this stuff. And it's really about dissolving that so we can open our heart and accept what people are offering, what they're able to offer, and then leaving it at that. And when you can do that, relationships are so much more fulfilling. Um, so that's what I feel like a lot of this work is about, and ultimately it plays out in relationships, the deep individual work we do. So just feeling grateful, holding a lot of love in my heart for the beautiful people in my life, and kind of wishing that everyone gets, I don't want to say these moments, more than these moments, gets more and more and more awareness of this in their life, so that they spend eventually more and more time in touch with the awareness of love, and less time wrapped up in the fear in our heads. So sending love out to everybody. I hope that this week is inspiring and beautiful, or if it's not, that you're seeing the work to do to drop those walls so it can be. Much love to you all. Bye.